must be worn at all times and in all areas whilst on the Mersey Ferry, links and passenger bridges and terminals. Please respect social distancing during the cruise, and we ask you to pay attention to the emergency procedure notices displayed around the vessel. In the unlikely event of an emergency, you will hear 7 short blasts followed by 1 prolonged blast on the whistle. If you hear this signal, please make your way to the life jacket assembly points, following the assembly station direction signs displayed. The crew will be on hand to give instructions and advice. Please note that smoking, including the use of e-cigarettes, is not permitted on any part of the vessel. And for your own safety, we also ask you not to stand on the seats or sit on the ship's rails. We ask cyclists to alight after all foot passengers have left the vessel. And could all school parties please make themselves known to a member of the deck crew. Please be aware that at low tide, the link-span passenger bridges will be at a steep angle. This time of day is called low water. You may have difficulty if you have reduced mobility, so please ask for help if required and take care. Photography and filming may take place during this cruise and may be used for the purpose of promoting Mersey Ferries online, in print and on social media. Please remember that you must wear a face covering and respect social distancing during the cruise. If you have not already done so, please check in using the NHS COVID-19 app. Please scan the QR code positioned at various points on the ferry. During the cruise, you will see the UNESCO World Heritage Waterfront and some of Liverpool and Wirral's most famous landmarks, including the Three Graces, Wallasey Town Hall, the Mersey Tunnel's ventilation shafts, Camel Lodge Shipyard, the Royal Albert Dock, and Liverpool's 2 magnificent cathedrals. We shall be stopping at Woodside on the Wirral side of the river, where you can walk to Birkenhead's Hamilton Square, one of the finest Victorian squares in Britain. At Woodside Ferry Terminal, you will find Woodside Food Village, which offers a fantastic range of national and international cuisine from award-winning food vendors.
Ferry, cross the Mersey, cause this land's the place I love, and here I'll stay.
There's been a ferry across the Mersey for more than 800 years, providing a link between Liverpool and the Wirral shorelines. Pier Head, our starting point, takes its name from the long stone pier which once jutted out into the river from the shore next to the Sailors' Church, the Church of Our Lady and St Nicholas. You can see the church at the back and to the left of the Liver building, with a golden square rigger ship on its lantern-top tower.
The modern 350-metre terminal on your right is Liverpool's cruise liner berth. More than 70 vessels, carrying about 100,000 passengers, are set to use the terminal in 2021, and many new cruise ships will be making their maiden voyage along the Mersey in future years. Plans are also approved to make a new, bigger facility built on a suspended deck nearby on the river, which will be able to accommodate the world's largest superliners. Construction of a new ferry terminal linking Liverpool with the Isle of Man has also been approved by the city's council. This will replace the current facility on the pier head and is said to be built at Prince's Half-Tide Dock next to the cruise liner terminal. It will mean a ferry linking the island will continue to come to Liverpool and is said to be run by the Steam Packet Company.
In all, 7 miles of docks and 23 miles of quays stretch along the Liverpool foreshore. In 1710, the Corporation of Liverpool started work on the world's first commercial wet dock, and by the end of the century, the city boasted a full dock system. Steam had revolutionised shipping, and this, combined with the Industrial Revolution and the opening up of the Americas, secured Liverpool's future as a trading city and a major port.
Liverpool's unique character has been influenced by a diverse mix of races: Welsh, Irish, West Indians, Africans and Chinese. And this has produced a population characterised by its vitality, resilience and extreme sense of humour. The city is also home to the oldest Chinese community in Britain. Liverpool had prospered from trade with the British West Indies and the American colonies during the 18th century. A latecomer to the triangular trade of cheap goods to Africa, slaves to the sugar plantations, and sugar, rum and tobacco home to England. Liverpool nevertheless came to dominate the slave trade until its abolition in 1807. The growth of the United States of America provided Liverpool with growing volumes of trade, and new docks opened on the Mersey in quick succession during the 1800s. The city was described as the gateway to the British Empire and the door to the New World. Between 1830 and 1930, over 9 million people left Liverpool by boat in search of a better life. Before steamships were introduced, these journeys were extremely hazardous. To sail to America would take 35 days, and the trip to Australia lasted from 10 to 17 weeks, depending on wind and weather. The ships were crowded, and conditions encouraged the spread of diseases such as cholera. By the late 1800s, over 200 ships a week would leave Liverpool and travel to all corners of the world. Liverpool then was the most important port outside London. Only the 7th of the total registered shipping in the world, the city attracted wealthy businessmen, merchants, sailors and privateers, and the population increased dramatically, with over 75,000 people packed into 1 square mile of what was described as mean streets and fever-haunted alleys. The city has always evoked strong emotion in people. Daniel Defoe, author of Robinson Crusoe, wrote, "Liverpool is one of the wonders of Britain." Charles Dickens was also a frequent visitor to the city and regularly took the ferry, as he put it, for the air.